Alright boys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we are here with episode 7 of the F123 driver career, starting off with a department event there, choosing the interview, see how that goes, putting some upgrades on the car this time, having a look at some reliability as we get some upgrades, and unfortunately one of them fails here for the Monaco Grand Prix, which is never good. Looks like front downforce upgrade there. We do get an engine upgrade on the car, but yeah, don't have enough points to rebuy it, so it's gonna have to wait until after practice. Changing the energy store that blew up in our last race. Here we are after practice, putting that upgrade on the car, and then some more reliability. So yeah, let's head into qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. Alright, here we are in Monte Carlo. As you can see, a little bit of the engine light is on down there, so a little bit of engine wear, probably from the quick practice, but not too much of an issue here in Monaco. Look, I mean, surprisingly, the car felt pretty good around here. Took me a few laps to really get used to the track, but I definitely got used to it by the time we got into Q3. Still a couple corners I struggled with, but yeah, so far, like you can see, they're having a bit of a moment coming out of the hairpin, and this corner as well I struggled with as well. That's just a couple, but yeah, overall not a bad first sector there. As we go into the chicane down here, very easy to get underbody damage on the curbs in Monaco, especially the big yellow sausage curbs. I suppose you could call them sausage curbs. But yeah, like you can see, they're just grazing the wall. You know, just typical Monaco things, barriers, curbs, trying not to die. So yeah, as Leclerc sets fastest lap, we're going to open up the DRS to finish our first lap in Q1 here. It's going to put us P2 just over, or just under, sorry, 2/10 to Leclerc, ahead of Hamilton, Perez, and our rival Piastri. And that was enough to get us into Q2 here, as De Vries, Hulkenberg, my teammate Albon, Gasly, and Magnussen are all eliminated. Not a very positive sign to start Q2. We have a fuel system fault, so we did have to wait a little bit before we could get out, but we did end up getting out here for our first run of Q2. Relatively clear track, only about 5 cars on track other than us, and I'm pretty sure they're all heading into the pits, so traffic should not be an issue on this first lap here. Going a little bit wide, missing the apex there, coming back nicely though for the second. Go to the right of the big bump down there, down to second, up to the hairpin now. Going a little bit wide, missing the apex there just marginally. And so we can get this corner right. Oh, a bit of a moment again. So yeah, that was the area we needed to work on. Just kind of at the start of sector 2. Head down. Oh, we just clipped the barrier. That's going to cost us some time. And the high speed section were pretty good through here. Pretty good, especially through here as well. Got pretty close to that one on the right hand side, and took a lot of curb, which obviously, as we miss an apex, which is just great. More risk of getting underbody damage and things like that, which is not good for Monaco, because you need as much downforce as you can get. But that is going to put us only P14, so we will need to improve on our second run here. Now this is what we went out a little bit earlier than most of the cars, so there is going to be a bit of traffic out on the circuit at the moment. We just have to hope that they comply and let us through, as we're catching up to Bottas here. He is going to let us through. We're going to go to the left of him. Hopefully we don't get any traffic here, as I can see a few cars up ahead, a Ferrari, one of them. I think that's Sainz. And so look at this corner again, just gone a little wide there on the exit. But the deltas are looking pretty positive at the moment. This is where you can gain the most time, clipping the barrier down here. So we can just get it nice. That wasn't too bad. I've definitely seen better. We do gain a bit of time though, so that's always good. At the moment we are 3/10 quicker than Sonoda. So let's have a look at signs. Oh, he makes a bit of a late move there. We just kind of got past. That could have been very, very bad for both of us there, but we make it past him and it puts us up into P7. So we're just going to have to hope that that is enough to make it through to Q3, which it is in P8 by just over a tenth and a half. We make it through ahead of Norris and Sonoda. Drivers eliminated. Surprisingly, Carlos Sainz is one of them. So very, very unfortunate for the Spaniard as we start Q3. Now we've had a very good run in quali the last few races. We just haven't been able to really, I suppose, replicate it in the race, having a couple DNFs in the last couple of races. So we're going to have to really fight hard for this one at Monaco, especially not one of my favourite tracks. But yeah, hopefully we can get some points this weekend, because we've been around the mark for most of the races in terms of getting points. So yes, hopefully we're on it. It would mean so much to get a couple points here in Monaco, especially considering how, you know, it's just such a pain in the arse of a track. So yeah, things are looking positive though. Car's feeling good by this point in quali. We know with our next run we're just going to be going fully foot to the floor and, you know, risking crashing out and getting damage to get the lap time. So let's make this banker a decent one. We're going to come across the line and sort of 1:12.0, so quicker than Leclerc and Verstappen. Piastri also making it through to Q3, so very good for him. As we come out with a minute to go or so, across the line with about 15 seconds left as we start our lap, and so far the delta is not looking good, boys. We're down by nearly 2/10, a tenth and a half. There it is, the 2/10. We are down this, although it's P3, which is bloody unbelievable for a Williams here in Monaco. Would be pretty disappointing considering our shocking first sector. So see if we can improve. We do. We get about a tenth out of that corner alone at the start of sector 2. Let's have a look. Let's see how the rest of this lap goes. Solid through there. We're up by 3/10. We've gained so much time in this middle sector. 2/10 up on Sergio Perez as we go purple in the second sector. Could this be a pole position? Could this be our first ever pole, imagine, in Monaco, as we gain about 4/10 as it's just dipping there, but it's slowly rising. Is it going to be pole for the Monaco Grand Prix? Yes, it is. We got pole position. Unbelievable. Wow, I cannot believe what I'm saying. We go fastest in Q3, grabbing our first pole position in F1 in a Williams at Monaco. Unbelievable. Going nearly 2/10 quicker than Sergio Perez. Hopefully we can hold on to it for the race. Imagine the scenes.
Formula One returns to Monte Carlo once again today, home to the world-famous Monte Carlo casino that first opened in 1863. And of course a certain road race first held in 1929. There's no greater an occasion, no more valuable a win than the Monaco Grand Prix. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. O'Reilly lines up on pole position, edging out Sergio Perez, who lines up P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Norris, Tsunoda, Ocon, Bottas, Sainz, Joe, Stroll, Magnussen, Gasly, Hulkenberg, De Vries, and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Here we are on the grid. Wow. Bit of rain forecast for the end of the race. We'll have to see how that plays into it, as the strategy is just medium to hard. So, yeah. Let's waste no more time and let's get into the Monaco Grand Prix.
As the formation lap gets underway, the cars will begin their journey climbing high through the town before dicing down to the harbour side of Monaco. Arguably the most iconic venue on the race calendar due to its setting and, of course, the annual dose of glamour and drama. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations. In actual fact, the Monaco Grand Prix circuit has changed 10 times over its lifetime. Some have been...
And we're away for the Monaco Grand Prix. We get a very decent start over Perez, and we do hold position going into turn 1. Very, very important. That's the first bit of our job done here. Now is the hard part. We just have to stay in the lead of the race. Imagine if we won a race here. Unbelievable. Anyway, we can't be thinking about that right now. We've still got about 39 laps to go in this one, as we stretch out our lead to about a second on Perez. Surprisingly, as we screw up that corner that I said I was having trouble with earlier in quali, but we do only lose about 3/10 there, and it's still nearly a second to gap, so very solid so far from us. Surprising. I did not expect to be getting pole position and potentially a win this early on in the career. Yeah, we take them. I did realise for quali that the difficulty was about 10 on like about 101 to 103 or something like that. And yeah, I did put the difficulty up for the race to about 105, 106. So yeah, I suppose we'll just have to keep adjusting as we go on, as we finish the first lap. As now Perez about 3.5 tenths off us as we start lap 4 here. So this is going to be where the real hard work starts, really trying to defend when he's right behind us. Not sure if you were able to hear, but at the start of the race we did get told that we were a little bit down on the engine power, as we do have a bit of engine wear, so that is definitely not going to help us today, even though it's not the most important thing in the world. We saw Daniel Ricciardo win the race here in 2018 with a screwed up engine. So yeah, he kept Sebastian Vettel behind that day. Can we keep Sergio Perez behind today? We'll have to see, hopefully, but if we're being honest, I don't think we can. They're just too quick. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes here as we go on to lap 5 through the tunnel. Using some of that overtake, I thought Perez might have gone for a move there, but he didn't end up going for it. He knows better than to risk it in these early stages of the race. Gotta settle into the race, you know, just find our rhythm, get re-dialed in to the circuit. Can't afford any little lapses in concentration, or else we will be in a wall. and we definitely don't want to risk that considering the amount of points we're going to be getting here for the team. As now we move on to lap 6 through the tunnel. I'm not using that much overtake, you know, just driving, trying to stay concentrated and not really worrying about behind too much. Constantly checking the gap, but obviously it's very hard to overtake here in Monaco, so just, you know, trying to concentrate on just the driving and, you know, just putting in good lap times and trying to hit every apex and things like that. So that was the end of lap 6, the start of lap 7. Now further into the lap here, the first sector, we kind of have a little bit of a munted kind of end to the first sector. As we go up to the hairpin now, Perez right on us, along with Leclerc, Hamilton behind, Verstappen P5. Didn't look where he qualified. I'll say that after the race. But we have a little bit of a moment there. And could that give Perez a bit of an invitation? He's closing the gap rapidly. Gained about 2 tenths there. But no move into the chicane. Like I was saying before, he knows better. Now, as we go into lap 8, Perez is going to make the move around the outside of turn 1. And he makes it stick. Unbelievable move from Perez there as we gain on him there. We nearly chuck ourselves into the wall as we go wide. Side by side with Charles Leclerc now. Very, very good racing from the two of us. But unfortunately, boys, I'm going to have to say I think the win is off. I don't think we're going to re-overtake Sergio Perez. We're just not quick enough. On them hard tyres, he is pretty damn quick. So, yeah, look, we put up a good fight for about 7 laps. But you know what? It doesn't matter. At least get points. That has to be the minimum. Top 5 minimum, surely. But for now, we're just going to keep focusing on our race. You know, we know we are. It's a weird position. We know we are fighting these guys, but we are not really. So as you can see here, Pierre Gasly retiring from the race. Gonna see if there's anything done about that. I do not think so, as Leclerc is right on our gearbox. That was pretty much the story of the race, just trying to defend as we knew. So, yeah. Perez and Leclerc definitely were way quicker than us through the first sector. And arguably the third, but our second sector was really good compared to the other cars around us. So that's always a positive. As I still hold the fastest lap, as we're on lap 11 now of 39. So now, by this point in the race, you know, we're easing into the race. We're pretty much, as we have a moment there. But then, you know, nearly a second gap to Leclerc isn't going to be enough. Might not be. As he's going to have a dive down here, around the outside. Give him the room. Wheel to wheel. Oh, good racing there from me and Leclerc. Very good racing. He was rapid just then. We had about an 8/10 lead, and I make one tiny mistake, and he's having a go at us. So that is, you know, that's the reality. Renault Williams, he's in a Ferrari. So that is a wake-up call to us. We cannot afford to make mistakes. As now we enter lap 14, as Leclerc copies Perez, or tries to at least, as we have a little bit of contact there in turn 1, but we keep the position. And look at that lead. Perez has got nearly 11.5 seconds as we make a mistake there. Just brush the wall. No damage though, as it looks like Hamilton is going to have a look around the outside of Leclerc there. I'm not sure if he's going to make it stick or not. Looks like he has made the move. They are going back and forth, which did give us a nice little gap there, but he eventually did make it past. And now as we finish the first sector of lap 16, Hamilton right on our gearbox. Leclerc dropping back, so I'm not sure if there was any contact between Hamilton and Leclerc there when Hamilton made that move. But yeah, now, you know, Perez is pretty much checked out of this race, 15 seconds up the road. So you could arguably say now that the win is pretty much his. unless he has an engine failure or crashes out of the race. So yeah, it's pretty much in the bag for him at the moment. Anyways, here we are, finishing the first sector of lap 17 now. Hamilton's still with us. So yeah, it looks like he's going to be our main opposition for this race at the moment, as Leclerc enters the pit lane and we are going to box this lap for the hard tyres. So Leclerc going for the undercut, which is pretty OP on this game. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Here we are. We're going to enter the pit lane. We don't want to speed. It's kind of a munted pit entry there. It's kind of screwed up. But anyway, entering the pits. We still hold the fastest lap somehow. Now let's see, we get a purple stop. Optimal. 2.3 second stop. Solid with the clutch there. And let's hurry up and get out of the pits. Where's Leclerc? Leclerc zooms past us. And he has done the undercut. He has made it work. And now he's up to a net P2 in this race. We drop down to a net P3. So this defense of the position from Hamilton becomes even more important. Even more important now. That could be the difference between us being P4 and on the podium. As now we have heaps of other cars pitting. Hamilton, one of them. Oh, sorry. It was Russell, not Hamilton. And Verstappen also jumping in the pits as well. So we gain a couple positions there up to P8. Our fastest lap does get taken off us, as we are now going to overtake Nick De Vries. He's running in a nice P7 there. And we make that work. As Hamilton tried to follow us through but couldn't. Now on lap 21 of this race. As you can see, it does look like it's getting quite grey as we just brushed the wall there. But it does look like it's getting quite grey and overcast overhead. So that rain that we saw before the race on the strategy screen could well and truly be on its way as Leclerc picks up the fastest lap. And then Perez takes it off him by lap 25. So, yeah, by this point, it was kind of just a holding pattern really. A bit of a stalemate. Hamilton couldn't get past me. Leclerc was skipping off down the road, and Perez, look at that lead, nearly 25 seconds. So, like I was saying before, it is pretty much his race now. As we go a little bit wide down the entry into the corner. It's Hamilton right in our gearbox still. I feel like we've driven a pretty good race so far. Pretty solid, not many mistakes. Couple brushes with the wall, but it hasn't cost us too much. So we can just keep our concentration levels up and hopefully not make any mistakes or any severe mistakes. Hopefully we can hang on to this P3. As now we head to the end of lap 26. Hamilton has pretty much been on us the whole race. So, yeah. Doing a pretty good job to keep him behind, obviously, in the superior car, the Mercedes. Future team, possibly. You never know. If Hamilton retires this year, could be an option. As he's going to have a crack at us here. He does actually get ahead of us. But we are going to stay side by side and do what we did to Leclerc and pretty much keep the position, even though it was pretty much the opposite. We were on the inside for that one against Leclerc, and we keep it around the outside for Hamilton. So very, very solid defense there, as the skies are getting greyer, or they're more overcast, if you could say that, as we now head on to lap 29. Rain is pretty much inbound at this point, you would think. Looks like it's going to make its way in the next 10 laps. So we might get some right at the end as Hamilton decides to pit. I'm pretty sure he had a little bit of damage. I think he hit the back of me in that little clip just there, as we're going to have a look at the weather.
We're expecting the rain to hit us any time now. Dry's definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
As you can see, that mark just saying that the rain is pretty much here. As you can see now, as we skip on to lap 33, the rain is definitely here. You can see it on the screen. We are going to stay out though, as every car pretty much stays out.
Keep getting heavier for the next 15 minutes at least. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So you can see that they definitely still think dries is the right way to go,
Okay,
as we pick up some underbody damage there. Not sure what that's from, but we pick it up anyway. As now we move on to lap 35. Now going through turn 1, we have a big moment there.
The tyre situation's pretty touch and go right now. We think the slicks may still be quicker, but it's very close, and you're going to struggle to keep them in the temperature window. The inters are ready for whenever you need them.
That was all the invitation I needed, that big slide there. We are going to box this lap. Go on to the intermediate tyres, and let's have a crack. Trying to make up some timers now. We are in the lane. DRS gets disabled. It looks like might lose a couple positions to Alonso and Verstappen. With 4 laps to go, let's see if we can still grab that podium.
Okay, mate, that's it. Go.
Solid with the clutch.
That was a fantastic stop. Faster than we were
This
expecting.
was a very big gamble at the time. You know, being willing to lose a couple positions to get on the right tyre and be quicker. Especially at a track like Monaco, track position, you definitely want to keep it, but I could barely keep the car on the road, so it was definitely the right decision. As we make short work of Verstappen here, we're going to dive down the inside. A little bit of contact there with Alonso, it looks like, for us. And we're going to dive it on him as well into the hairpin. So, we mean business here. Can we catch up to Charles Leclerc in these last couple of laps? Let's have a look. We've already gained nearly 2 seconds on them cars. It's definitely the right choice to be on them inters. And now, as we head on to the final lap, we do end up catching Charles Leclerc. This is pretty much our last chance to get him. Oh, we're going to send one, but we make a bit of contact. That's a little bit naughty as Perez wins the race. It is an illegal overtake, so we are forced to give back the position to Charles Leclerc, as we have half a lap to go now, not even, of the Monaco Grand Prix, where we've done so well all day, as Leclerc definitely has a big slide, and we're going to overtake him for P2 in this Monaco Grand Prix. I don't think he's going to get back past us. Unbelievable move. Even though we kind of rammed him off the track a couple corners before, we end up coming home in P2. Unbelievable.
Top job, mate. Top job. Yes. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but man, you pulled through. Thank you. Well done.
Victory for the team from Milton Keynes then, after a quality performance. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Wow. What a race here in Monaco. A podium for us, our first podium, our first pole position. Even though we couldn't hang on to the win, this is definitely as good as a win gets for me. Personally, Monaco not my favourite track, so to do it at Monaco, very, very, very rewarding after driving around for nearly an hour on this cursed track. So, Albon as well making good strides from P20 up to P14, as Leclerc ended up with driver of the day. Hulkenberg from P18 to P9, another notable performance there. As I was just looking, a couple other cars did 2 stops. I just wanted to have a look who that was. Looks like Hamilton and Norris, I'm pretty sure. I was just having a look at the incidents there. Couple warnings for myself. And yeah, very, very good race as we look at the standings. Verstappen still on top of the Drivers' Championship. We are P10, just behind Norris there. So yeah, Perez definitely making some strides towards the top of the table there. And Red Bull stretching their lead as we gain heaps on McLaren, and now we're only a point behind. So it's shaping up to be a pretty decent season this season. So hopefully we can keep it going in Spain. And yeah, thanks for watching, and by far our best race weekend of the season. Unbelievable. Catch you next time.